We should be live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our May 14th meeting. Oh, I think we lost Radio Joe, but that's all right. We got him back. I am Anthony J. Porter, chair of the committee. I am going to do IDs. Drew, you are the first person I see.
Hi, Drew Bingaman, Pennsylvania captain.
That works. Next is Jamie.
James O'Keefe, captain of the Massachusetts Pirate Party, and I guess are subbing in for Misty and Joe from Massachusetts.
Thank you, Jamie. Next we have Jester.
I am Ashley Melody. I am the current interim rep for the Indiana Pirate Party.
Thank you. And Radio Joe.
And you're still muted.
Hi, William Daffin, California chair, filling in for Yari today.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Give me one moment here, and I will just repost the wiki page so we all have it. That should take me 1 minute. I've got the page. Okay, I posted that in chat, and I will attempt to also post it over in the stream chat if anyone wants to look at it. And I think that means the agenda has gotten to everybody that needs it. We can move on to some reports. I believe the only officer we have here that may need to do a report is the auditor. Jamie, I don't know if you have anything to report, but I'm giving you the opportunity.
I do not have anything to report at this time.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. We should have committee reports, but I don't believe we have a committee chair with us tonight either, so that is all right. I don't believe we necessarily expected any reports unless anyone wants to prove me wrong on that. I will take that as not being proven wrong on that. So that means we can go ahead and go to some old business, and it's just USPP conference planning update. This kind of goes into... Sorry, this is written... Our agenda is written a bit confusingly because we have that and then we have a possible wording of a change to the advisory board, and then we have the actual country bylaws change. Okay, this... So we basically have two more broad discussions about the conference and conference planning and changes we might make coming up, and then we actually have the bylaws change. I would be more inclined to do the concrete thing first, but I mean, that's up to all of you. All right.
What do you define as concrete?
I mean, we have like a bylaws change here, right? And you already put that in new business, which, means, after a conference planning update and something about the wording of a possible advisory board. But those are both things we could spend a lot of time on, so I'm wondering if we want to just proceed to the, already thought out bylaws proposal that you already made and tackle that first.
I would personally argue that the conference is the highest priority here, but that's me.
And it is. It's conference adjacent though, so I didn't know how to. All right, and we can things in order. We have the conference planning update. Did anyone here in particular have any specific things they were working on in terms of the conference? Jamie was, or not Jamie, Mitch had some stuff going on, but so.
I don't have anything new other than to just make it public that I am going to be taking at least a half-hour slot for the speaking slots. So that's pretty much it.
I mean, I also, I'm going to. He already reminded me to retrofit the form we used last year into the same thing where people can start filling up slots since we're so close. I mean, that's going to happen early this week, and we'll announce it. I just don't know what else. I feel like we're missing everybody that was tasked to work on things. Because Yari had some things, Mitch had some things. I need to know where that. I know, sorry guys, I'm a little lost because I don't think we have anyone who's supposed to be doing reports at this meeting. So let's see. Because that was the only thing I was working on. There were some things about, the website. Were there any other changes we need to make on the website? Jamie, how involved have you been in that? I know there were general changes, and there was also stuff we were trying to do for the conference.
I mean, I've been keeping the website up to date, updating the software. I haven't done anything with the conference, nor do I think we've been asked. Yari has updated support.uspirates.org with various pages, including nominations and other stuff that people can go to and sign up at support.uspirates.org. But in terms of other things, I know someone went through and they updated a bunch of links, found some dead links, and we've been going through those to clean those up. There are some state parties that need, I don't know, their HTTPS certificates updated or things. So, and we've reached out to them.
Yeah, that was also a good impromptu IT committee update, so that's good to have on the record. I feel like when it comes to the conference, I don't think we have anyone who is tasked to work on any of the specific stuff, and that's also similar with the wording of the USPP advisory board. There's no specifics, which means it will be difficult for. I don't. 3 out of 4 of the voting members here haven't been entirely involved in or passionate about that conversation, so I don't know how to proceed with that either, Jamie, unless you knew about some of the reworking things with the advisory board and wanted to say anything on that topic. But I also know that I don't think Will or Jester have been involved in that well.
Yeah, my semester is going to be ending for college in 2 weeks, so that's why I haven't really been paying as much attention as I have had finals.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Man, all of you get out late. I was done 2 weeks ago, or I guess a week ago, or something like that. But good luck on the finals. If we don't have anyone who wants to comment on that either, I guess we're just going to the bylaws change. Sorry, everybody. Our agenda did not fit our audience very well.
So who is responsible for the conference?
Well,
Like,
that's
who is leading that effort?
that's the thing. We had a impromptu conference planning committee a while back, but a couple things changed with that. Some people who were organizing that effort are no longer with the party, so there was some stuff going on there. And I don't think we ever actually designated a leader. We just designated individual tasks to individuals. And I don't know if any of them are currently here to report. So it would be my suggestion then that we go ahead and talk about this bylaws change proposal from California, not the California that is with us, the California that is without us. Let's see, sorry. So our bylaws change here is the change to Article 4, Section 3, which currently reads what it reads there, and Yari has revised it. The primary version, or the primary reason for this revised version of the bylaws is to set in stone that we will be allowing a public vote for our officer positions. And the exact wording and way we will do that, as always, is in the details. If we would like to, we can take a couple minutes to read over it, or we can discuss. I know you already sent it to many of us already, Jester, I don't know if you had sent it, but it is in the wiki notes. How do we want to proceed? Do we want to take a couple minutes to read over it again? We'll take a few minutes to gather questions. I'll check back in with everyone at 9:35 or so, or earlier.
I actually do have a question regarding the bylaws change, actually.
Yes?
Are we still going...
Sorry, Jesper, I think you're cutting out a little bit.
Can you hear me at all?
Now we can.
Okay. I was just meaning to ask if the officer positions are still going to be elected through the Shoals method, or if it's going to be changing methods, since it's not explicitly stated in the change.
I believe it was my understanding that they will still be elected through the Shoals method when we are filling vacant positions throughout the year. That is how I read it.
Okay.
Okay, how are we doing?
Excellent.
That is good to hear, though particularly in terms of the bylaws change. Do we feel like we understand what's going on? Do we need more time? Do we need to discuss?
I'm good.
Okay. How does everyone else feel? Okay, then I mean, does anyone have any comments?
I have two questions. Oh, sorry. I'll raise my hand.
I guess we'll go to Drew first.
Go ahead, Jamie. That's fine.
All right, then we'll go to Jamie first.
I've mentioned this to the proposer, but it says the public, but it doesn't define what the public is. I will point out that prior to the current incarnation of the United States Pirate Party, we would do meetings on IRC, and they would be open to anyone who wanted to attend an IRC meeting, and that ultimately did not go well. And we had no definition of membership. Anyone could just show up. People started coming, trolling, being disruptive. And ultimately, that whole organization, it was too difficult to even amend the bylaws to put in a membership. Nothing could be agreed, so that organization was dissolved, and a new organization, the present organization, was created. And that we went to a state-based organization because that seemed easier considering our size and organization, what we could accomplish, what we could use. So I'm wary of when we say the public shall be eligible to vote when we don't define what that public is. Like, we literally do not want fascists or DSA members. Not that I'm saying anything bad about DSA members, but we don't want Republicans, Democrats, anyone just kind of coming in and being able to sway things because they can get 100 people to just go and vote how they want. So we need to define what the public is at a minimum. That's one question, but I'll defer. I'll wait for other questions.
All right, we will go back to Drew, but first I do want to spend some amount of time on Jamie's point so we can remember it and start thinking about it, because I do think it is a really good one. It seems that all of us really do want to start considering it, at least some things revolving around a model that is not the state parties. We do want to be a little bit more democratic, dip our toes into that again, and I think we all agree that this is a good place to start. But I do think Jamie does raise a good point, where it does mean that if we're going to start to do any of this, we probably do need to define more solidly what that system is and what the litmus test is for who gets to participate. We've talked about this a little bit, but I do think it would be good for us to spend some time on it. So hopefully we can come back to that point and really take it seriously. But Drew, you also had a comment.
We did discuss this particular point when we came up with the idea, the whole idea, and we all agreed at the time. Those of us that were on the meeting agreed that public meant public, and we're looking to increase our participation. This vote is just for this is it's the nominations are open. We wanted more people to participate and get nominations, and we wanted people to participate to vote. We wanted anybody that cares, and I was the one that said, let's make it public, because Anybody that's willing to go to our website and fill out the form to vote, that's participating in this party. And while there is a possibility of trolls and people that we don't want coming in and voting, ultimately they are voting on the PNC, but that doesn't change the state members of the PNC. This is officer elections, and there are ways that those people, if it is run by trolls, that we can fix that. There's nothing that stops us from if some fascist gets elected as captain, that we can depose them, because we know that the vote was flooded by a bunch of right-wing idiots. I don't think this is a problem. I think we're projecting out a problem that may happen in the future. But right now, I don't see this as being problematic at all. I think it's trying to encourage people to just get involved. Give us your contact info, especially, and get some more people involved in the Pirate Party. That's the idea. So yes, public means anybody that is going to take the time, come to our website and fill out the form. So, I believe me, Jamie, I understand when people come in force to take over or control a political party. But I don't think we're there. I don't think we're at that point. And if there is going to be any shenanigans, it's not going to be the majority of the votes. I just think we're not there right now. I'm willing to risk getting more participation, because you and I aren't going to be deposed by this, no matter how it goes. All the state members are still state members of this body, the PNC. So it isn't something that can be bought wholesale at the annual convention. We're replacing the officers, yes, and can they be hijacked? Yes, but it's not going to be a wholesale selling out of the party in general. So hope that answers some of your concerns.
All right, thank you, Drew. I believe it is Jester, then Jamie, then Radio Joe. Jester?
So I have two different things I feel about this. The first one is I'm more agreeing with Drew on this opinion, where I'm like, my more libertarian side is like, yeah, let's make it completely open to the public. Just because, if it says public, it should be everyone, even if, they aren't as engaged with the Pirate Party as some of the more, dedicated members. It's like how, with every movement, every social movement, you're going to have some people who are going to be like on boots on the ground for like, protests or for organizing, like the groups that helped get the Georgia vote out during the midterms and 2020 elections. But you're also going to have those people who are just like, oh yeah, I'm here for the occasion, but is pretty divorced from other matters in the party. So I feel like it would give the public the sense that we are actually allowing anybody to express their views and whatnot. However, and this is the but, and this is the other side of it, where I don't. This would, with like having the party state captains having some level of authority to make sure that the national party doesn't end up being controlled by fascists. You're going to have some sort of way to make sure that the state captains are not like really strictly vetted, because if we did officer elections for like something like state level in this way, you're going to have that situation. And you can say that people aren't going to do that now, and if to anyone who thinks that can't happen to us today or tomorrow, I raise you 4chan. I'm sorry, but they will literally do whatever they want in order to get a laugh or to get power. So just because it doesn't seem like a credible threat is you're kidding yourself. And that is all I have to say about that.
All right, thank you. Next, we are back to Jamie, then William, then Drew.
I mean, I fully support the idea of the party changing to either a full membership party where people pay dues and we have their names and their addresses and contact information the way, say, the German pirates are or other pirates are, other countries' pirate parties are. Or some hybrid between a membership and states, however we want to do that. But we have had in the past people being disruptive, and we could in the future. And I think while I want to say anyone, and I do believe anyone can be a pirate, if all we're asking for is they give us an address that may or may not be their address and their email that probably is their email, but who the heck knows where it is. That's a really low bar, and someone joining the party and paying membership dues at least is in my mind, a better bar for people to cross. But that's my 2 cents.
All right, next back to Radio
Well, I'm probably out of everyone in this group, maybe the least qualified to talk on this issue, but I just wanted to maybe bring forward something that might work as kind of a happy middle between the two. A very big thing within the pirate party is just, everyone is able to participate. You can come in and you have a voice, but maybe we could put in we can allow that, but we can put in measures to try and prevent that. So for example, in this, you could do something where if we are noticing that this one person is garnering a lot of votes from just outside sources, because currently in our just voting body, most of it's going to be within the party at this point. But if there is a large break from that, maybe we should just put in some infrastructure to allow the party to notice that and maybe respond to it, instead of trying to just go all one way or all the other. Perhaps. I don't know. If someone has an argument against that, I would love to hear it.
All right, we are back to Drew.
So speaking from experience, paying dues was not a barrier to trolls and the targeted targeted attack or the targeted takeover of a political party. That was not a problem. I mean, what Jester's saying about, if we're targeted, $25 or $15 or whatever it is that we set for yearly dues. I mean, unless we're talking thousands of dollars, is not going to per vote is not going to be a bar that is too high for that kind of attack. If somebody really wants to come in and blow our votes out of the water, it can happen. But what I'm saying is right now we have the rest of the PNC that is the state membership that can, if that needs be, that can be fixed. I don't see I don't see that as a flaw right now. I don't see us as being fully vulnerable to that kind of a takeover. Especially not in this year. I certainly don't see it in this year. We would already have to be seeing takeovers and of other states. And let's also be honest that if somebody really wanted to take over this party, what they would do is just set up a bunch of websites and have people have become PNC members, because even though we have a bar to become PNC members, it's really not that high. And again, all these internet trolls, if this is who we're afraid of, if they really wanted to take over this party, it'd be done by now. They could set up 10 states and they'd have enough, they'd have a controlling interest in this party. So I just don't see, while there is some reason to collect dues, I don't think the argument is that it sets a bar for membership necessarily, as a minimum, because that minimum is really, it's not going to serve as an obstacle to those that may wish to abuse membership. And again, we're talking about making this as one election, the election of the officers, to be open to everybody. And then each state handles their own election of officers. And that includes the PNC members. So I really don't see the major concerns in this. I feel confident that this is not going to lead to a disaster or is opening any doors that aren't already open. I think our benefit is if the notice gets out there, we will get more participation by it being a low bar to participation, rather than a low bar to participation being opening the door to massive amounts of trolling. That's just my opinion, though. So,
Jamie, you are next, and actually, I would like to ask if you may be able to incorporate this. I would definitely love to know more about the early days of the party and how quickly it became an obstacle and how many people were required to make this an issue, because that might help us understand, because none of us were there. Anyway, continue.
To Drew's point, and looking back at the history, the issue was that anyone could come into a meeting and disrupt it. Whereas with the PNC, to Drew's point, you'd have to create a state party, you'd have to get approved, and then, then you'd be there, and then you could be disruptive. So Drew is, I think, correct in that, although officers do have abilities, powers that could be misused. One thing I will point out, since we have kind of gone around in this and we agree, we disagree, whatever, is the changing of Article 6, Section 2. Previously, when it's the PNC was voting on candidates, there were 2 weeks prior to the election, in which we would publish who the candidates were, and in which supporters may ask questions of the candidate. And now it's only 5 days, which for a larger pool of people seems to be going in the wrong way against transparency, right? I would think we'd want 3 or 4 weeks advance notice. It shouldn't be 5 days. That's not a lot of time to go and ask people who the heck they are.
the idea is that there will be candidates forums or during the convention, so that the accepted candidates will have time to speak and have questions asked to them. I know that was discussed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the more notice that supporters have as to who the candidates are, the more they can go and evaluate them. You know, if you're in like Amnesty International, I think they have like a month or 2 months before, and I don't know, I'm not advocating that time, but they have a long period of time where you can learn about the candidates, their bios, you know, and they present that information to you. And 5 days, I don't know. It just doesn't seem long enough. I'm not saying we should have 6 months, but we should, you know, get notice out as to who the candidates are sooner than just 5 days. People are busy. They're not going to notice. So give them more time.
All right, thank you, Jamie. I believe Jester is next. We also have 2 Jesters, but that shouldn't be an issue. If you are with us, you are muted. All right. While waiting on Ashley to resume, I will probably just let Jamie come in with his second thought.
This is not a second thought. This is a comment from one of our viewers. Dustin Etz states, you can have varying types of membership and involvement levels who have allowance to vote in different circumstances and just have them recorded separately for record. And then that could get fusing fast, though, says Dustin. So thanks for that, Dustin. Just wanted to pass that on to folks.
Thank you, Dustin. Jester, are you with us?
I hope so.
You are. All right,
Okay.
continue.
Sorry about that. When did I get cut off? Or where was
I did not hear anything when I called on you.
Oh, dang. Well then, I was just going to say that I agree with Drew on the matter that membership dues are not going to be a good deterrent for, the alt-right and whatnot, especially because given my experience and growing up in my early, internet, journey in the alt-right, having $1,000 as the, benchmark would not be a good deterrent. They will find a way in. So I feel like with the way that we have the party structured now, at least with the state parties having, I assume that it would just depend on the state for their vetting process. That having the state captains in the PNC would actually would probably be a good deterrent against people, a bunch of fascists coming into during the public elections and being, let's elect our own guy to be, go top, what is it, top heck or whatever the heck the new alt-right is saying these days. But I think it could be a good deterrent with the state captains, but this is something where I'm like, we're kind of unique as a party in this sense, at least in the United States political spectrum. So I don't know how well this would work because we're, this is very unique to the American democratic experiment. So that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Jester. So what I'm hearing right now is, and maybe this is a little more high concept than what we initially set out to discuss, but what I'm hearing from everyone, including the comment we got from Dustin actually, is that maybe moving into this mixed model where we have both what we're doing now and also some more direct democratic elements that might be more in line with what other minor parties tend to do. The mixed model might actually be a good way to proceed because it would allow us to be more democratic while also having these checks and balances in place. At least that's what I'm hearing from everybody. I think it is a good idea. I don't know if we want to continue on that note, but I definitely do think it is innovative enough that I definitely don't think it's something anyone has tried before.
I would like to add something here real quick.
Okay.
I thought of this while in like literally like just now, but I don't think the idea of membership dues is entirely bad. However, I wouldn't want that to be a requirement of being part of the pirate party. I was thinking doing something like being like, oh, let's just call it the pirate ambassador program, and be like, oh hey, you want to become an ambassador? We can train you like show you the a more expansive form of our ideals, but reality would just be a way of getting funding.
Yeah, we've talked before about individual membership dues and whether or not it's something we want, or if we just want, like you were talking about, like some kind of bonus for someone who would pitch in. I think is probably a separate discussion, but I mean, it's all worth bringing up. Where are we now? Are there any further comments that anyone would like to make? All right, Jamie.
So one thing I will put out there to clarify. So we have the text: during the annual meeting, the public shall be eligible to vote in the election of officers. And I'm trying to create a wording that still keeps the public, but puts in some requirements, minimum requirements. And my suggestion was changing the public to any I feel like the public there's a public in the world. So is it anyone in the US? Which is fine. I have no problem anyone in the US. But is it someone from Germany? Is it someone from, like what does that mean? But beside that point, instead it could be any member of the public who provides their name, address, email address, and phone number shall be eligible to vote in the election of officers. Would that be acceptable as a change?
Drew?
Yes, absolutely. Because when I suggested this before, that was the idea. The idea is we're trading votes for contact info. We want to expand our mailing list and our that was the idea. So yes, that would be perfectly fine. That it would be it's just officially stated there that's that's what it takes. I'm fine with that.
Jamie, you are
Yeah,
muted.
I realize. I'm just writing that up.
All right. Okay, what other changes might we be looking to make that might? I guess right now we're focusing on solid barriers to entry that might help us define what public means. Is that correct? Are there any more of those? Okay, are there any other changes that we might want to suggest, or actually, I mean, we could make full-on amendments if we wanted to. Can't do friendly amendments because Yari isn't here, but we can do anything else.
I mean, you can always amend.
Yeah, we can always amend them.
Would we want it to be their true name, address, phone number, or just leave it like they could provide an address, maybe not their address? I don't know. I mean, I guess they could not. I don't know. Leave it at that.
Any more? Does that give us any more room to be mad at them if they were misleading, I feel like we kind of implicitly already have the wiggle room to be mad at someone for that and act accordingly. Drew.
Oh, sorry. If Jamie would like to make the motion of the reworded change, I will provide a second, and we can move forward.
Suggest changing item reading during the annual meeting. The public shall be eligible to vote in the election of officers. To during the annual meeting. Yes, during the annual meeting, any member of the public who provides their name, address, phone number, and email address 2 weeks prior to the election shall be eligible to vote in the election of officers. Is that 2 weeks acceptable to you, Drew?
I don't know if that would work with how we have things set up at the moment. Under normal circumstances, I would say yes, but since we are where we are right now in this period of time, I'm not sure if that's going to work with how we had planned on implementing the voting system this year. And I'm not deep into it, so I can't, and I don't, and nobody that's here has been part of that. So I've only been in the periphery of that discussion. I just would be hesitant to add the time frame portion.
Let's see. I'm trying to put in a caveat that this starts in 2024. Hold on. All right. Well, I mean, we can always. I get your point. We could always amend the 2 weeks next time or something.
Yeah.
like
If we
that.
were talking about this a month ago, I'd be with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So then it would stand as during the annual meeting, any member of the public who provides their name, address, phone number, and email address shall be eligible to vote in the election of officers. That is the change.
And I'll second that change.
All right, Jamie, since we don't have our secretary here, oh, that's a lot of feedback. Could you do me a huge favor and just write down and post the exact wording of your amendment, what the
Absolutely.
original was with the changes? Thank you so much.
There you go. It's included in the chat.
All right, thank you so much. We have a motion and a second, so we can move on to discussion and debate. Is there any further discussion and debate, or should we call the question?
Can I just read some additional questions that came in?
Yes, you may.
All right. David Hall says, so basically a big tip jar. Dustin then goes, it would probably be more appropriate to just straightforward say you are asking for support from members. It would contradict pirate ideals to suggest keeping info/training from people. I mean, okay. Bob Destroyer says, any member of the public that signs up to vote. Dustin then says, in my opinion. David Hall, yeah, basically a pay if you want to support us out of the kindness of your heart button makes sense. That's it. Just want to acknowledge the...
All right, thank you. I think a lot of that sounded like it had something to do with Jester's proposal. Let's see. I remember where we were now. Drew.
I was just going to say call the question, but just as a quick aside to the not very pirate to keep info. Well, you got to keep your ship's roster. I mean, there's no way around it. We got to take names and some way to contact you. I mean, it doesn't have to be your primary one. You can set up a special one just for the pirates if you really want, but it does have to be yours and it does have to be legit. And I don't care about real names either, to be honest. Use your, I mean, I'm using Dread Pirate Drew. Use that. I just want people, I do want legit people that are willing to participate. That's what I'm looking for. And if you really don't feel comfortable giving us your real name, I'm not that worried about it. But I do, we do want things that work. Like, we want addresses and we want and email addresses and phone numbers. That's what we want so that we can contact our people and get them to come to things, to be motivated to participate within the party. So, that's what I could say to that. But other than that, yeah, let's call the question on the amendment.
All right. And there's only 4 of us, so I'm just going to ask if there are any objections upon the question. And we will give a second for Jester to come back, just in case they have one. Jester, did you have a any opposition to calling the question?
I think we just vote. I don't think there's opposition to calling the question.
Yeah, sorry.
There's all these rules and things to it that I just, a way to strike it down if you have a bunch of people in a room, but we don't.
Maybe we'll probably be using those rules more the larger we get, but currently we're the size where pretty much everyone is in agreement and is more concerned with growing the party than technical mumbo jumbo.
Boy, I hope we never have to worry about technical mumbo jumbo.
We will.
I know we won't, but I can dream. All right. All in favor? We'll just do a voice vote. All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Aye.
All right, the amendment passes unanimously. I will copy this and get it to Yari so we can put all of this in the meeting notes the right way. Drew, I see that your hand is raised.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a motion to adopt the bylaws change now, as it is now written and amended.
I don't believe we usually make ourselves go through that process. I think it's just oh shoot, yeah, to amend it.
Yeah, we just amended it. Now we need to vote on the whole proposal.
Oh no, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a motion. Is there a second? Okay. No seconds to voting for the whole thing.
Well, this is so California put this forward, or who put this forward?
California put this forward, but the member of California is not present.
The member originally putting it forward, and I would say, just out of respect for their idea, I think we should make sure that they understand the scope of the changes that we've made before voting on ratifying this.
That being,
I mean, once the motion is made, the motion is made. It's
That has not been seconded, though.
That being said, though,
Drew,
the member.
do you want to second it?
I mean, if we're considering it, if we're considering the motion, just putting it in the agenda to be discussed and voted on, which is usually how we do it, I will be the second. Then that's fine. And
My
then
apologies.
we can just. I mean, obviously, if the rest of you all don't wish to adopt this, I mean, it is that is what it is. So, I mean,
No.
I would rather have an up or down vote, honestly, than letting it die for lack of a second.
The
I-
member
I-
who brought this forward really wanted us to run with it and do whatever we wanted to do with it tonight. They absolutely wanted it discussed, and they urged me. They were like, "AJ, please vote on it, please."
Okay, my bad.
No, it's all right.
So motioned and seconded.
Okay, so that was motioned and seconded. Okay.
I think there's discussion and debate for this. Go bylaws change.
There would be.
Is there any further discussion or debate?
No, not here.
Jamie.
I just want to say that Dustin says that is not what I was talking about. I was talking about the statement where it was suggested people would get an additional level of information if they pay.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was about originally. I just
Okay, that makes sense. Is there any further discussion or debate on this item?
I would say
Okay.
call the question then.
All right. Then we have the change. Oh, hold on. All right. I think my technical difficulties are over. We'll just do a voice vote again. All in favor.
Can we not do that?
Yes, we cannot do that.
Thank you.
We can do state by state instead. Pennsylvania,
Aye.
Massachusetts.
Abstain.
All right. California.
Aye.
And Indiana.
Aye.
All right. That is 3 ayes, 1 abstention, and all right, the bylaws change has passed. And that is all we really had on our agenda, and it is getting late. I think this is about to kick us out.
I have
actually.
55 seconds.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I think we're about to. It's about to kick us out. Follow our Discord. And our
Vote
Twitter.
pirate. And
Vote
vote in our election coming up.
We must stay on the call until the call ends forcefully.
20 seconds. I think it's 20 seconds. If we're right on the estimate, it's going to be 20 seconds.
Pirates must
That'd
go
be
down with the
pretty funny.
ship.
Yeah, we're going down.
Hey, this is more fun than just signing off. And
Yes,
Go to
it is.
support.uspirates.org to give us your name and contact information. please.
there we go.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe I was wrong.